Hi everyone, it's another absolutely gorgeous spring day outside today, and as you can see from the sunlight coming through the window behind me, and I'm sitting here doing another video. But I thought I would do a video on my sort of choice of gear for travel, whether that's a day out or whether or not it's a longer trip. I'm a user of Micro Four Thirds camera equipment, and I have been for some years now, and one of the huge benefits of that system to me is the size and weight of the gear. Anyway, let's start off with one of the two loadouts that I prefer currently. I've given a lot of thought to this, and there's a lot of experience in this as well from my various experiences travelling. So two little small loadout kits. Right, the first of which is this, so I'll hold that up there so you can see it, and it's a thing called the Wandered, W-A-N-D-R-D Tech Pouch. Now it is small, you can see it's small, you can see it sitting in my hand there. Let's get that in front of the camera. And it's made out of a sort of, I'm not sure what the material is actually, but it's I guess it's a lightweight waterproof material. It has got a name, but I'd be glad if I can remember what it is. But anyway, it's designed for, as the name suggests, tech pouch, for tech, whether you're travelling with batteries or cables or microphones, whatever it happens to be. But it makes an ideal little camera bag, and by little I think you can see how small I'm talking about here. You get this optional strap for it as well, so carry it on your shoulder or around your waist or however you want. One thing I have done, and I will mention first, is that it has a magnetic, I don't know if you can actually see that there, I'll try and get it against the light, magnetic clasp, which I think is fine, except I'm not happy that it can come undone, and I'm certainly not happy that someone couldn't undo it for you. Try and grab your stuff, so I put a couple of cable ties through that to make it a bit more secure. But anyway, that's just a personal change. Moving on to the actual kit itself, believe it or not, in there, and I think you will believe it if you know a bit about my passion for getting miniaturising gear and so on, or if you follow my blog, but believe it or not, in there is a camera and 3 lenses. Now, I regard this kit as a very small kit just to go out for the day, or if I'm away, a second sort of backup camera kit, a smaller kit to carry around, say in the evenings when I've been carrying my other gear around for all day and I just want a break. I want something light, small, but I want to keep the functionality, so it's got a dual purpose. One is for that, well, triple purpose, say for going out here in the UK for a day out travelling very light, for packing in my bag to go away as a second backup kit, and again a kit in its own right for taking out in the evenings or whatever I want. Okay, so I said I've got a camera and 3 lenses in there. I'll explain what those cameras and lenses are. So I've just gone through that main compartment, so I'll try and get this open. It's not going to work, I don't think, particularly well, but it doesn't really matter because I'll just explain what's actually in there. Okay, I've got my one of my pen cameras, my Olympus pen cameras. This one is the Pen EP5, which is a nice little camera, interchangeable lenses, and I've got it mounted on it my EV4, which is the electronic viewfinder, because I don't like cameras to just have a LCD screen at the back. I find, or have found, that in bright light they're absolutely flipping useless. So that's why I like a camera, whatever camera it is, to have at least the facility to fit, if not incorporate by design a separate EVF or an EVF. Right, so that's one camera. Mounted on there I've got my tiny little Lumix 12 to 32mm zoom, and it is tiny. I mean, the thing is a pancake lens, it's only about that long, that big rather. and I love that lens. I've really got to like that lens a lot. I bought it split from a kit quite cheaply a few years back, and at first I kind of thought, well, it's a bit of fun, but the more and more I've used that lens, the more and more I've actually realised it's in its own right, it's a lovely little lens. In fact, I've seen it described in reviews as a gem of a lens, and I wouldn't disagree with that. I've been very happy with the quality. So that's one lens, so that's 12 to 32 or in 35mm terms, twice that, given the factor on these cameras. So you've got 24 to 64mm. Nice little walk around focal length. But to supplement that, there's another lens in here, which is another Lumix lens, and that is the 35 to 100, which more or less sort of picks up where the other one leaves off. So with the two together, you've got coverage right from pretty much right from 24mm right through to 200mm. Now, when I think about my old 200mm film camera lens that I was using years ago, I don't know if it would actually go in there. If it did, it would be a fairly tight fit. So that's how technology is marvellously moved on. And weight-wise, it would probably weigh about the same as this gear combined now. So that's that. A couple of batteries in there, spare batteries, and a little tiny little spare little tripod to go with it, little tabletop tripod. Now I mentioned it, put it down for a sec. I mentioned it actually has 3 lenses, and the third lens, because it's got 2 pockets to this thing, the main compartment and a smaller front pouch, which I think is kind of designed so you could put a mobile phone in it or a pair of sunglasses or something like that. But in my case, it's got the third lens that I've been referring to, and that is, I'll get that one out, whoop, minus the back cap, and that's this. And that is the little Lumix 14mm 2.5, which is, as you can see, another pancake design, a little fast little prime lens. Let me, what happened to the back cap? We'll get that in a minute. Okay, so that is this little kit, and it doesn't weigh very much, and it's small, it's compact, lightweight, and so on, and just for a day out, just or in the evenings, as I say, when you're away or something. Great little setup, I think. Okay, so here is my main kit. Not appreciably bigger, perhaps, than the one I just showed you, the bag. I put it on that side, nearer to the light, and the bag itself is I've mentioned some of this kit before, like the other bag, the Wonder Bag, and indeed this one. This one is a Manfrotto bag, or Manfrotto Bag. Again, it's got quite a nice sort of finish to it, material-wise, I think. But it comes with a rain cover, which to me I think is a really, really sensible and useful thing to have with you at any time, regardless of the gear inside. Really nice, and a couple of belt loops at the back here. But the main compartment, well, I say main compartment, there's only one compartment really, but it does come with a divider, so you could argue that it's got 2. There we go, that's the main compartment, and it's nicely padded. Now in there is, first of all, there's a separate compartment at the top. Get that back around here where my thumb is. Here there's a compartment, and in there I have got a I know, it's a plastic box. It came with something, and I can't honestly remember what it came with. I don't care, but in there it's just a nice size to take a camera battery or 2. In this case I've got a spare battery and a couple of lens wipes and lens hood for one of the lenses that's in it. Right, now moving on to the actual gear itself. I've got my camera, my beloved Pen F, Olympus Pen F, and I'll just dig that out. There it is. So that's my Pen F. And mounted on it, excuse me, mounted on it is a Lumix 14 to 42mm lens. Below that, in a small pouch that is actually belonged to a little velvet pouch, belonged to one of my Olympus flash guns. Now I don't really use much with flash, so I've decided to use it for another purpose. But inside there is my little Lumix 20mm f1.7 prime. That's what that lens hood was for, by the way, because it's a bit of a squeeze in there with the lens hood on. Right, take the one on the right out for a minute, and below it, put that down somewhere. Below that I have, to get it out, this lens, which is my Olympus 9 to 18mm. Okay, so that sits over there, and next to it is the rain cover for the bag itself. And lastly, this is something I wouldn't habitually take with me, but because I do more wide angle to standard or short telephoto type shots than anything else. But if you're travelling, at least I at least want to have a longer lens with me somewhere, even if it's back at a hotel room for taken out on days when I think I will need it, and that's that one. This is an Olympus 150mm lens with its hood. So if you put all that together, just like I did with the other kit in terms of coverage, this one's actually wider because of course you've got that extra ultra wide lens in there, so it actually goes from right away from 35mm terms, from 18mm right through to 300mm. Now I have one principle that I've adhered to for some time. I've had various health issues, and which made me think very hard about the weight of my gear. Well, I've always been conscious of the weight of my gear, but it's become more of a factor than ever now. So what I've done is, when it comes to the equipment that I'm carrying around most of the time, the heavier of those two setups I just showed you, the latter, I picked the smallest bag that I'm comfortable carrying, and that is the one I'm using, that Manfrotto bag. And then I've limited the weight of the bag by saying I don't want to carry around in that bag more than, 1 kilometre. That was a decimalisation. I don't know. No, 1 kilogram. Okay, but I probably don't want to carry it for more than 1 kilometre either. So that's probably what I was thinking there. Actually, no, I'm good for a little bit more than that still. Just, but okay. So 1 kilogram in weight, 2 pounds thereabouts, and so I then say that whatever I choose to take, including the bag itself, should not come to more than 1 kilogram. Okay, if that's the case, if I think about, I either take something out to balance things out, or it doesn't go in and start with. But it doesn't need to, because I think the range of focal lengths that I've got are more than adequate for what I want. So I should say, I've been referring to all these lenses, but I haven't given you their aperture range, and I don't buy expensive lenses. I've never been able to afford to buy expensive lenses, and quite frankly I don't want expensive lenses, because if you take all the monetary value that I paid for, say, the kit in either of those bags, let alone the combination of the 2 camera bodies and the various lenses I've showed you, and some others that I've got that I haven't included in there, if I was to have paid full price and bought them from new, you'd be talking thousands, but that I haven't. Over a period of time I've sort of cherry picked the ones second hand, I've split from kits. I'm trying to think if there's anything in there that I've showed you that I bought from new. Possibly, well, there is in fact. The 12 to 32 was bought from new. That's cheap. That was split from a kit, and the same is true of that lot. Telephoto Zoom I showed you, the 40 to 150, again split from a kit. Very much cheaper, less than half the price of new. But they're slow. So if if in certain situations they'll be no good to anybody with certain specialisms, you know, that need fast lenses for one reason or another, or shallow bokeh or whatever it happens to be. I don't. I've got my preference is landscapes, cityscapes, and I want to stop down. So I'm really not bothered that a lens starts at 3.5 or 4. And goes to f5.6 or something. Of course, another factor to that is these consumer grade lenses aren't weatherproofed. There's not a lens in that lineup that I just gave you, or a camera body that's weatherproof, but that comes at a premium. I would rather have a nice camera rain cover for the eventuality when I need that. And I've got one. It's certainly going to be a lot cheaper than paying for that. Build quality is the other factor. They are some of them at least are plastic, which of course is good from a lightweight point of view, but they're not going to stand being thrown haphazardly into bags or bounced off the floor or the table. But I look after my gear and it looks after me, and it's had a few knocks. It's accidents, unavoidable, but nothing drastic, and it stood up rather to everything that I've subjected it to. Okay, so there we go. Couple of little kits there, little selections, and a little bit about my sort of philosophy when it comes to gear in general and gear specifically for travel. So I hope it was of some interest to you. If you'd like to know anything more about any of that gear or related issues, then please leave me a comment either on YouTube here in the comments field, or maybe if you're looking at this through my blog, on my blog it's comments. So anyway, take care everybody, have a good day, and look after yourselves, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye for now.